In the cold dawn of January 15, 1947, Los Angeles was shrouded in a morning mist that hinted at secrets too dark to speak aloud. It was a city built on dreams, where the line between fame and infamy was perilously thin. But nothing could prepare the City of Angels for what was about to be discovered on Norton Avenue. A quiet housewife named Betty Bersinger was walking with her young daughter when she spotted what she initially thought was a discarded mannequin lying in a vacant lot. As she drew closer, the horror of the reality struck her. It wasn't a mannequin. It was the body of a young woman, pale and grotesquely mutilated. This was no ordinary murder. The woman's body had been severed in half at the waist, drained of blood, and her face slashed from mouth to ears in a grotesque, Glasgow smile. There were no signs of struggle at the scene, no blood to suggest the crime had been committed there. The body had been carefully posed, legs spread apart, arms raised above her head, a sickening display for whoever found her. This was the work of someone meticulous, someone cruel, someone who wanted to send a message. The victim was soon identified as Elizabeth Short, a 22-year-old aspiring actress who had come to Hollywood chasing the same elusive dreams as countless others. Born in Massachusetts, Elizabeth had grown up with visions of stardom, but like so many before her, she found only hardship in the city of broken dreams. To those who knew her, she was a beautiful but troubled young woman, known for her striking black hair and penchant for dressing all in black, earning her the nickname, the Black Dahlia. She was also known for her charm, attracting attention wherever she went. Yet her life was a series of transient relationships and fleeting connections. The news of Elizabeth Short's brutal murder exploded across the nation, feeding the insatiable hunger of the press. In a city that thrived on scandal, this was a story that had it all: beauty, violence, mystery. The media immediately sensationalized the case, dubbing her the Black Dahlia, and transforming her life and death into a grim Hollywood spectacle. Her murder was the talk of every household, her image plastered across every newspaper, her story dissected by every gossip columnist. But behind the headlines was a woman whose tragic life had ended in unspeakable violence, a mystery that would haunt Los Angeles for decades. The investigation into Elizabeth's murder was plagued with problems from the start. The LAPD was overwhelmed by the sheer brutality of the crime and the intense media scrutiny. Detectives were flooded with false leads, confessions from attention seekers, and countless theories that led nowhere. Despite their best efforts, the case quickly went cold. Dozens of suspects were interrogated, but none were ever charged. The city was gripped by fear, wondering who could have committed such a heinous act and whether they would strike again. Theories about who killed Elizabeth Short have ranged from the plausible to the outlandish. Some believe it was a jealous lover, someone she knew intimately, who harbored dark, violent tendencies. Others suggest it was a deranged stranger, someone who saw an opportunity to commit the perfect crime. There are even those who claim it was the work of a notorious serial killer, linking the Black Dahlia's murder to other unsolved cases in Los Angeles. But perhaps the most chilling theory of all is that it was someone in a position of power, someone who knew how to manipulate the system, ensuring they would never be caught. One of the most compelling suspects emerged years later: Dr. George Hodel, prominent Los Angeles physician with a dark past. Hodel's own son, former LAPD detective Steve Hodel, became convinced that his father was the Black Dahlia's killer. George Hodel was known for his strange behavior and connections to the seedy underworld of Los Angeles. He had been investigated by the LAPD, performing illegal abortions, and there were whispers of his involvement in other unsolved crime. Steve Hodel's investigation uncovered a chilling amount of circumstantial evidence, including photographs of a woman resembling Elizabeth Short in his father's possession, and a cryptic diary entry that seemed to hint at the murder. But without concrete proof, the case remained unsolved. The impact of the Black Dahlia murder on Los Angeles was profound. It exposed the underbelly of a city that marketed itself as a paradise, revealing the darkness that lurked beneath the glitz and glamour. The case became a symbol of the city's corruption, a grim reminder that in Hollywood, not all that glitters is gold. The murder also highlighted the deep misogyny of the time. The media often portraying Elizabeth Short as a wayward woman who somehow deserved her fate, a victim-blaming narrative that still echoes in discussions about the case today. In the decades since her death, Elizabeth Short has become an almost mythic figure. Her murder inspiring countless books, films, and television shows. Her story has become a part of Hollywood lore, a cautionary tale about the dangers of the city's seductive promise. But as her image has been romanticized and distorted over time, the truth about who she was and what happened to her has been obscured. The real Elizabeth Short was a young woman with hopes and dreams, whose life was cut short in the most horrific way imaginable. The case of the Black Dahlia remains one of the most infamous unsolved murders in American history. It is a story that refuses to fade, a mystery that continues to captivate and terrify. The city of Los Angeles has changed a lot since 1947. The shadow of Elizabeth Short's murder still lingers. Somewhere out there, perhaps, someone who knows the truth, someone who holds the final piece of the puzzle. But until that day comes, the Black Dahlia's ghost will haunt the city, a dark reminder that some secrets are buried too deep to ever be uncovered.